unforgivable thing your family have ever put you through. My parents married me off to Rajit when I was 22. He was 43 and a family friend, and had been looking at me as his bride to be for almost a decade. His family also had generational wealth, which my parents said took priority over everything. Thing is, this wasn't even the real kicker. The real kicker was that my first husband, Omar, the man I married for love, had been gone for just 5 weeks. My parents barely even reacted when I told them. Just started making phone calls. And before I knew it, I was standing in a sari, still numb, being forced to feel Rajit's hand trace my face as he talked about how long he's been waiting for this. At some point during the ceremony, Rajit leaned in and whispered that I was his from the moment he saw me. Now it's just official. At the same time, my parents approached me. They told me they know it's hard, but I needed to let go of Omar. That Rajit owned me now. I went to protest, but my parents interrupted. They were planning a world cruise next summer and asked me to please be a good wife so Rajit's family could reward them for my generosity. They then bowed to Rajit and on my behalf promised I wouldn't be any trouble. I just stayed silent, too numb to speak. The very next day, I moved into Rajit's borderline mansion. The moment he saw the photos of Omar and me that I had kept, he insisted I destroy them. I told him please. I'd keep them under the bed. He wouldn't see them, but he walked real close to me, grabbed my jaw too hard to not be a threat, and told me that was an order. That night, I helped him burn all my printed photos of me and Omar. The night after that, I smiled and gave him my phone so he could delete every photo. The week after, I was wearing the diamond necklace he bought instead of Omar's hand-cut wooden one with my name etched into it. What hurt just as much was how my parents acted. Every few weeks, I'd get a text off them. Another payment came in. We're so proud to have a daughter who is such a dedicated wife. I'd stare at the screen and reply with a broken smiley face. My parents would actually come to visit sometimes, but they never paid real attention. They never noticed the new bruises or the new black eye. Instead, they were too busy talking to Rajit about the holidays they're taking. Meanwhile, I still kept my husband's number in my old flip phone, secretly texting him goodnight with a love heart emoji, then replying to myself with the nickname he used to call me. It was like that for 18 months. I was the picture-perfect submissive wife, the one who gave in to every demand and accepted every piece of jewelry as Rajit's apology for every beating. But then it happened. I remember watching a YouTube video about an engineer, and something sparked inside me. My dream had always been to be an engineer, and Omar was saving to send me to college. That night, after Rajit finished taking advantage of me, because that's what it was, I brought up the idea to him. I said it would be from home, part-time, he wouldn't even notice it. When I said that, I remember he turned to me with this demonic look on his face, the kind only truly evil people make, then told me with the coldest voice, "What did you just say?" That's when, for the first time, I found the courage to answer. I told him I wanted to go to university and slap. I was interrupted by his hand meeting my face. "Talk back to me again, and I will make that feel like a massage." He then stared me down until I nodded and apologized. I cried myself to sleep that night. I woke up the next morning to the sound of someone downstairs. I went to check it out and saw Rajit, my parents, and Omar's little brother Mohammed. My heart dropped. Mohammed was the one thing in my life that kept me sane. Omar never had parents and was like a father to him. Mohammed currently lived with foster parents, but once a week Rajit permitted me to see him. Well, he put a stop to that morning. He said what I did was unacceptable and spoke as if I had betrayed him. I remember staring at my parents in disbelief, pointing to my new black eye, begging them to really look for even half a second, yet they just nodded in approval at Rajit's words. Seeing Mohammed reach for my hand while getting dragged out crying was the most I'd felt since Omar, but feeling Rajit grab my waist and slowly pull me back while I reached back for Mohammed ignited a feeling I'd never felt. I remember making my mind up at that very moment. I was done. That night, I quietly packed my things. I grabbed only what I needed, including the one photo of me and Omar I had successfully hid in an old tampon box, and crept out without explanation. I made the 40-plus hour journey across the country through buses and trains. I arrived at Omar's best friend's house exhausted, having not eaten, slept, or drank water. And when his wife saw me, she lunged to hug me. She held me forever before asking if I was here for the truth. That's when I stumbled. What truth? I was here because I was escaping. She just looked at me like she knew something I didn't. She then invited me to go sit in the kitchen while she called out to her husband that I was finally here. They both came down, but didn't even say anything to me. Just handed me Omar's notebook, something I never even knew existed. Omar's best friend revealed while crying that Omar had noticed something and wrote about it in this notebook. Apparently, he'd always said it was too dangerous to keep in our house in case it happened. The way they said that made me nervous. I asked in case what happened, and they told me to take a look for myself. They opened the notebook, and my heart shattered the minute I started reading. Omar had written about Rajit, how he watches me at family gatherings, how he talks to my parents and looks at me while doing it. That's when it dawned on me. Omar had known something. Full story on channel, linked below.